Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today is going to be a fun discussion about getting uncomfortable in order to reach your goals. And I actually made a short video about this over on my Instagram and my TikTok, but I was like, I want to really expand on this topic because for me, this has been such a like an eye-opening epiphany type of thing that's happened because over the past couple years my life has changed so dramatically. I have been able to travel the world. I have been able to do the things that I absolutely love. I've had opportunities to do public speaking across the world. And on top of that, being in a great relationship and also being able to really have the freedom to pursue my hobbies and do the things that I love. And so, because of these things, it has also put me kind of in a comfort zone. Like after you achieve a lot of, the goals that you set for yourself, your goals and dreams, people don't necessarily talk about what happens after you get the thing, right? Like after you reach the goals, after you get the things that you want, because what oftentimes happens is that you become comfortable, and it's pretty normal to get to this place of comfort zone as a human being and just kind of like want to stay there because obviously we are literally wired for survival, not for success. And so if you understand that, then it makes it easier to understand that as a human being, every single time you go through like growth phase, you're going to get uncomfortable because it is required for you, even if it is something positive, for you to get uncomfortable to change because even positive changes in our life are going to feel uncomfortable because we're having to change our identity, we're having to change our belief systems, we have to change the habits that we're doing on a daily basis. And so this was something that I really wanted to discuss today because recently I launched my own business, and it's called Vibe, and I actually have some of it here today with me. So it is a product. It comes along with an affiliate marketing opportunity and a community. So this is just a really incredible extension of my gifts, my talents, my passions. And anyways, there comes a point in time where there's so many good things in your life that are happening, and then new challenges arise, right? New things come up like self sabotaging behavior, right? Because once again, our body, especially if you were raised in an environment that was constantly making you feel unsafe or constantly making you feel like money and scarcity and fear was a normal state of just a daily thing, right? Like it's normal to not have enough. It's normal to live in fear. It's normal to not feel appreciated. It's normal to not feel supported. Your nervous system and your body and your subconscious becomes familiar with those feelings. It becomes familiar with those emotions. And because of that, we have to recognize, okay, if this was my old programming or if this was my old identity, then I'm going to have to make sure that I create a new identity and a new set of belief systems so that I can practice that in my nervous system until that becomes my new baseline. That becomes my new normal. And that takes time, especially speaking from experience. If you grew up, and let's say, for example, for myself, I got out of the very interesting type of upbringing that I was raised in at the age of like 17. And so I've had 17 years of living in scarcity. I had 17 years of living in fear, 17 years of living with not the best money mindset, not the best health mindset. And so I've had to completely reprogram that. And of course, it takes patience, it takes time, and it takes intention because once again, our body wants to pull us back into the past. It wants to pull us back to the place where it knows that it can survive because survival was the point, right? As we evolve, the most important thing is that we survive as a species. That's number 1, right? Evolution and growth and success, those things come second. That's why it's important for us to build a solid foundation and get ourselves out of survival mode so that we can actually start to do the things that we really love. We can start to live on purpose. We can follow our passions. And really, we start to unlock our creativity. Because when you are in a state of stress and survival mode, you really block yourself from so much of your magic, so much of your talent, so much of your creativity and your imagination, because there's like a screen, guys. It's like looking through a dirty mirror or looking through a dirty window. It's hard to see what's really there because it's muddied by all these limiting beliefs and all these fears that you have about what you can and can't do, who you are and who you aren't, if you're enough or not. So, brings me back to, once again, getting uncomfortable. And this was something that I really sat with last night when I was journaling. This is something that I do so often. I love my journal. I love writing things down. This helps a lot with self-awareness, identifying belief systems that are no longer serving you. So, highly recommend it. If you don't already, get yourself a journal, use it because it works. And I was journaling and I was like, okay, I still have some resistance when it comes to building a business. I still have some resistance around taking action in my business and burning out, basically. Like, I was afraid if I continue to do more, if I take on more responsibility in my business, then I'm going to get to the point where I burn out and I'm going to, all these fears started coming up. Like, oh, I'm going to, start to feel depressed. I'm going to start to feel overwhelmed. I'm going to start to feel sad. I'm going to feel unsupported. And on top of that, I had all these other beliefs about, if I take too much action, then I'm masculine, right? Oh, I'm going to go too much in my masculine energy, then it's going to cause issues in my relationship. And the list went on. So I was just writing all of it down, all my fears, all the things that I was worried about. And I'm like, I wonder if I can really get down to the root of this and figure out, okay, what if all of this is not true? Like, what if these belief systems and these ways that I'm thinking are not true? And what if I can change them in a way that actually supports me? Because this has been my path since I was 19 years old. It has been completely restructuring and recoding my identity, because the set of belief systems that we have about ourselves, about life, about everything makes it to where everything that we see in our external environment really is just a projection of our mind and our beliefs. So if I don't like what I'm seeing externally, whether it's my health or my relationship in my life or my money situation, I always have to come back to myself and say, where am I holding on to thoughts and beliefs that are blocking me from experiencing the life that I know I deserve, the life that I want? Because if you want something and you're not moving in that direction, then there always is belief systems blocking that. Because first, we have our command center, which is our mind and our brain, right? Telling us what to do every day. That is what controls our movement. It is what literally controls your subconscious bodily functions, your breathing, your digestion, your circulation. Everything is controlled by the subconscious. And so, once again, everything stems back to our beliefs and how we choose to think about things repeatedly, because that shapes a belief. What are your thoughts around money? What are your thoughts around health? What are your thoughts about relationships? We really have to get clear on what are we constantly projecting out with our energy and our beliefs. Because, like I said, our results are based upon those beliefs. And so I had to check myself. I said, okay, if I'm not getting the result I want financially right now, I want to up level myself in my business, then I have to ask myself, where am I blocking my creativity? Why am I blocking my movement forward? Because I'm afraid. Once again, I was afraid, oh gosh, if I take too much action, it makes me masculine. Oh gosh, if I'm too masculine, it's going to mess up my relationship. So as you can see, I was blocking myself from taking action in my business because of other fears that weren't even true. It's true that maybe I have to take more action, but does that mean that I'm going to have to show up masculine in my relationship? No. Does that mean it's going to cause problems in my relationship? Not necessarily, especially if I'm aware of those other areas of my life as well. And so, like I said, I had to first face that uncomfortable feeling, because on a daily basis, I was having this resistance, this feeling of this uncomfortable energy of like, I just want to avoid this. I want to avoid taking action here because it was uncomfortable. But what I didn't know is it's not just about avoiding an uncomfortable action. It was about me avoiding the uncomfortable emotions and the uncomfortable thing that I was believing. So, in other words, what I'm saying is when you have resistance to something in your life, when you have resistance toward a person, resistance toward taking action on something, resistance toward getting healthier, it's not necessarily that you need to bulldoze over and just do the uncomfortable thing. You can do that too. It works for a lot of people. But my approach and what has worked for me is identifying, why do I believe, what do I believe about this that makes this feel so uncomfortable for me? For example, let's say I have resistance around health and I'm like, okay, I know I want to lose 20 pounds, but I'm completely avoiding it because I don't want to go to the gym. I don't really want to eat healthy. Even though I know I should do it and I want to be healthy, I'm not doing it. So I would sit down with myself, I pull out my journal and my pen, and I ask myself, why am I not doing the things that I know I need to do to get healthy? And then the first thing that would come to your mind maybe is, it's hard to be healthy, or it takes a lot of work, or I don't enjoy exercise or eating healthy, right? Why don't I enjoy exercise? Why do I believe that being healthy is hard or challenging, right? Because I guarantee you right now in your life, there's other things that you do that come easier to you, right? Some people, business is like, duh, this is easy. 50K months, 100K months are easy. That's my new baseline. That's my non-negotiable every month, right? And then you have other people that are constantly in a great state of health and they're like, being healthy is easy. I love exercise. Eating healthy is easy, right? And the same thing with relationships. There's some people that are just in healthy relationships and it's a normal for them. It's just a part of their identity. So ultimately, we have to ask ourselves again, where am I holding myself back? What do I believe about health? What do I believe about finances and business? And what do I believe about my relationships? So for me, my deep dive recently has been more in the financial and business side of things because that is where my focus is right now. Like I said, I've been traveling the world. I'm in a great relationship now. Things have been more stable for me in those areas. And now it's time for me to conquer the realm of business for myself as a woman, being able to create more financial freedom for myself, being able to live and do the things that I absolutely love, to share my passions, to be of service in a way that feels fulfilling for me and that actually does make a difference in the world. And so that has been a big blessing. And like I said, I guess the biggest takeaway from this is, don't avoid being uncomfortable. Go toward the uncomfortable things. Move toward your fears, because that is an illusion. Our fears are always an illusion. It's an illusion, meaning it's a way of thinking that isn't true. So when you have a negative feeling, it just means you're thinking something that isn't true. And you just need to go into that. Why do I believe this? How can I replace this with something that feels good? Something that is true? Something that frees me, because the truth will always set you free. Fear will always imprison you. It will always prevent you from taking action because it wants you to remain stuck. So, once again, don't be afraid of being uncomfortable because it's only temporary, especially when you're growing as a person. You are evolving, you are pushing to the next level with your business, your health, or even in your relationship. Understand it's normal to feel uncomfortable, but go within yourself, because everything is a reflection of our internal world that's projected externally into the 3D world. So it's easier, quicker, and smarter to focus on our internal world first, right? So pay attention to your beliefs, pay attention to your thoughts, and that will really make a huge difference in the life that you have, because everything is a manifestation of your beliefs and your identity. So I hope this helped, guys. If you want to see more content like this, definitely subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Like the video, of course, it helps support the channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video.